Guys, welcome to Tying Notes. Today we're going to look at what it means to tie notes together. We've looked at dotted notes, taking a quarter note, so a quarter note, and we've dotted it. We know that that makes a quarter plus an eighth. But there's another way to represent that. So we got a quarter plus an eighth. Show you a different way. We could actually take a quarter note and an eighth note. So this dot here is representing this eighth. We could actually take a line here and tie these together. So mathematically, this and this are exactly the same. But there are some situations where we need this one instead of this one, and the opposite. So let me show you some of the easiest ways to get started with tying notes, and then I'll throw you some more complex ones, and then before you know it, be a piece of cake. So let's see. You can see I have 4 boxes here. Normally our 4 boxes, each box represents a downbeat. But in this example, each box is a complete measure. So that's why I've got the 4 downbeats here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be like measure number 1, measure number 2, 3, and 4. So this is 4 measures. The easiest thing to look at, I guess, when tying notes is good old whole note. So we know that this whole note is going to receive 4 beats. So but what if I wanted to have a whole note, but that lasted for 2 measures? So if I wanted a whole note to be well, the way we can do that is we draw another whole note. So this receives 4, this receives 4. But this would sound like this, obviously. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, bum. So we got that pause there, but I don't want the pause. I want it to be one continuous note. Well, one thing to remember is to tie 2 notes together, they must be the same exact note. I know we haven't talked about pitch yet. But let's just say that this note were C. This note would have to be the exact same note, the exact one. It can't be like octave, like a C. Ba, ba. No, you can't tie those together. It's got to be bum, bum. Exact same note. Then we can simply just take this line. Now this is going to tie these guys together. So this isn't just worth 4 beats anymore. Now this technically becomes 8 beats because of the help from this guy here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go over here and look at some half notes tied together. So let's say I wanted to do a half note here, another half note here. So this box is complete. But maybe I want to have a quarter note here. Okay? So technically this, if I tie it together, would be the same thing as doing a dotted half note. But if I put a dot here, now we've got this, which is half of the measure, and this one, which is half of the measure, but now we have extra information inside the measure. We can't do that. That equals more than 1, like 1 1/4. So what we can do is just take this half note here and this quarter and tie them together. Okay, and then maybe we could, to fill up the rest of this, we need 3/4 worth of information. We could dot a half note. All right? So here you've got your 2 whole notes, which are tied together. Great. We've got a half note, another half note, tied together with a quarter. And we've got a dotted half note, which occupies these three. So everything here is complete. It all equals up to 1. So let's see what this would sound like. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. Let's look at this bit slower. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, bum, bum. What really makes the tie different from the dot is the dot can't help you cross over into a new measure. The dot's like, it's all contained within the measure. But if we want to tie things together, information from like the next measure, this tie allows us to merge the information. Okay? So it's like the measures aren't even a boundary anymore when you can just tie into the next one. This is very, very it's very useful for making cliches look visually like a little more appealing. I'll show you what I mean. I'll give you a couple more examples here using this 4-measure exercise. Alright, so let's see. Let's do a quarter note with a half note. And then let's do a quarter note here. Let's tie a quarter note into a whole note. Okay, so now we have a whole note plus this quarter. Okay, so this is all complete. Let's do maybe a dotted half note. Let's do a quarter tied to another quarter. And then let's do a dotted half note rest. Alright, so let's see what this sounds like. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. A little slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum, 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 bum. All right, let's try one more example. Let's get a little crazy. Let's do a dotted quarter rest with an eighth note, half note tied to another half note, quarter note, the quarter note tied to another quarter note. Let's do a dotted half note. And then just have ourselves a whole note at the end. Alright, let's see what this sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Let's hear this again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. Let's try a little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da da da, 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 da. Now we're going to look at some ties, but not in a 4-measure span, but we're going to break it down to 2 measures. All right, here we go. So we're going to start tying notes together now within the measure, because we don't only use ties to take maybe information from this measure and tying it into the information in this measure. That's one of the most common reasons for a tie, I think. But we can also tie stuff together within the measure to make reading a little easier. I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's say we had 4 eighth notes here. And 4 more eighth notes. Right here. Okay. So we got an eighth, 4 of them. And we got eighth, and 4 of them. But maybe I want this eighth and this eighth to merge, to come together. So that way I would have like 3 eighth notes and then a quarter note. So just to show you here what I'm talking about. So 3 eighth notes, and then I want a quarter note. Right. And then 3 more eighth notes. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this quarter is worth 2 eighth notes, so we would have 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But this is looking a little confusing to me. First of all, it's kind of breaking our rule of crossing the line, because the line would actually be like be in that note. It's sloppy. It's not nice. Okay. Here we have our imaginary line here. All right. But then we can tie these together. And tying 2 notes and crossing that line isn't the same as having 2 notes and beaming them. Beaming 2 notes, that's creating a visual cliche that's easy for reading. This is actually tying these 2 cliches together. This is perfectly acceptable. Okay, so this would sound like this. So if we went nice and slow, so 1, 2, 3, 4, da 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 da. Go even slower. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da 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 da. So 1, 2. Da 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 da. Da 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 da. All right, let's look at another example. So here we've got a quarter note. Got 2 eighth notes. Okay. So if we had our imaginary line here, we can see that this is a unit. This is very easy to read. Then what if we wanted a quarter note, and I want to tie these 2 together? And maybe we can put 1 more quarter. So we can see we've got 1, 2, 3, and then these 2 eighths make a quarter. So we have 4, which completes, and we have 1. Here we've got a quarter, an eighth, but now we've got an eighth tied to a quarter. So that value-wise is the same as a dotted quarter note. We've got a quarter here. So let's see what that sounds like. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll show you another way to write this. I would say it's not the correct way, just so that you could start to see what I'm talking about, how it's actually easier to read these cliches when you don't cross that center line and by tying notes together. This same thing could look like this. This is exactly the same as this. Alright? But we've got a quarter here, and we've got an eighth. So technically, the two beats are not complete yet. And then now we're throwing this guy in there, contaminating the first two. So this is like, it's not a very common cliche that you will see in books. If you were to want to express this da 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 da, it would probably be easier for someone to read like this by tying it together, because we can see that these two cliches are very like common. This guy, these two quarter notes are very common. So you're taking two commonly seen cliches and then tying them together, these two notes here. Where this, you're kind of creating like a whole new word. Where here is two common words that we just like link together with a hyphen or something, right? All right, we're going to have some more examples of tying notes together, and we even have some dictations for you. Hopefully this helped you out. Let's do this. Let's rock and roll.